Today, we're joined by Paul Fulford, a healthy living expert with Sanoshiro Lutronic, to discuss President Trump's landmark agreements with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, aimed at reducing obesity drugs and expanding Medicare coverage for millions of Americans. Paul, welcome back to the news desk.
Thank you for having me, Jay.
You got it. So, how significant is this move now for tackling obesity in the U.S., Paul?
I would say it's one of the most significant shifts in public health policy we've seen in the last decade, right? For the first time, Medicare is going to be covering obesity medications, right? Specifically these GLP-1s, which means we're finally recognizing obesity as not as a moral failure, but as a metabolic disease, right? Tens of millions of Americans now have access to medications that lower weight, but also can help reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and dramatically cut the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, even Alzheimer's and certain cancers. It really is going to help all of those things because of all what's impacted, right? And it signals that we're in a new era of metabolic medicine, not just combining, looking at diet and everything else. It's combining pharmacology, lifestyle, biofunctional optimizations, and we're managing disease. We're not like just dealing with it. We're trying to reverse its trajectory, right?
So, how might private insurers now respond to Medicare's new coverage?
Well, I mean, again, there's also that whole piece where, historically drugs have been black box, right? Especially like breakthrough therapies like GLP-1s. And basically by negotiating directly, the administration kind of cut through the red tape and the middlemen that keep prices inflated, right? So dropping it to like a $50 copay for seniors or $149 for direct to consumer, it kind of gives access that we've never seen before. Like launching like this TrumpRx.gov, it's kind of it creates a new parallel market for discounted access, right? It's really kind of similar to what Mark Cuban did with his cost plus drugs, but on a federal level. I mean, I think it's kind of a political win, but it's potentially a public moonshot, right?
Do you think these discounts truly will make treatments make them accessible for the lower income and the underserved communities?
I do. And I think that a lot of the problem, and again, I would say the average American's kind of been priced out of these, right? Where because they're so costly and it's life changing. Again, like imagine like just a 62-year-old veteran who's on a limited fixed budget, right? And who's battled with obesity and diabetes and now suddenly being able to afford a treatment at $50 a month instead of choosing between medication and groceries. I mean, that's a real impact, right? I mean, their drugs aren't magic bullets, they're tools, but lower cost means broader access, more research and better data on long-term outcomes, right? And when it combines, again, it's a tool. They need to try to combine it with strength training, high protein diets, some of the things we've talked about, right? Hormone balance, and that can transform more than body weight. It transforms the metabolic cycle that they have.
Looking down the road, Paul, could this increased availability maybe lead to over-reliance on medication instead of a lifestyle change that you and I both believe should go along with this?
Yes. I mean, again, this started as more of a diabetic medication, right? And there was ancillary benefits to it that we've uncovered, right? It is a relative game changer, but I'd say with a caveat, right? They're powerful drugs, but the real opportunity is how we integrate them into a complete care, right? Someone takes a GLP-1 and keeps eating inflammatory, ultra-processed foods, they'll lose weight, but they're not gaining health, right? It's the muscle drops, hormone shift, mitochondria take a hit. So it's a win in accessibility and affordability, but it's got to be paired with education, I think, right? As understanding, as well as resistance training, quality nutrition, and metabolic monitoring. It's how you turn weight loss into longevity.
Okay. Will this affect the pharmaceutical companies and their innovation for obesity treatment?
I don't think so. I think that there's other things on the horizon, right? This is covering the two main ones, where it's semaglutide and tirzepatide, or Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, right?
Hmm.
There are oral versions coming that are also bioavailable. There are different compounds also like retatrutide or retatrutide, which works on three GLP-1 agonists, right? So I think that I think more than anything, again, there's no shortage of pharmaceuticals that the big pharma can make money off of. I think that where this has kind of been a tricky ground, and I think when you look at a lot of the people that are on the Maha Council, you look at Bergen Bueller, you look at a lot of these people, specifically somebody like him who does a lot with peptides and compounds. Um, this is something that we can utilize to get ourselves healthier and be less reliant on drugs, right? So um, I don't think it's going to hurt their bottom lines by any stretch. I just think that it
Sure.
makes it more accessible. They had issues with being able to fulfill orders, which they asked compounding pharmacies to help them with when they had issues. Now they don't like them, right? So which way is it? Do we want to be able to
Yeah.
provide the medication, or do we care about healthy people?
Do you foresee a cultural shift now in how Americans approach weight management?
Um, I hope so for the good reasons, right? I think so often everyone's always looking for that quick fix, right? And
Yeah.
something that they can do that's an intervention. Um, I would say that it's something that is helping with assisting behaviors, right? And there are medical conditions where people that have a thyroid condition, if they're going to have extra weight on them, how are they going to lose weight, right? There are certain medical conditions that, for health purposes, on the joints and everything else, it's great. Um, it doesn't give us an excuse to go eat that whole left side of the menu at McDonald's, right? It should be
Yeah.
something that is utilized as a tool to get you to where you want to go. And while you're getting there, you're creating better habits, behaviors in lifestyle.
And Paul, we'll get you out of here with this. If these pricing reforms succeed, what do you think the next big step should be, both from policymakers and the healthcare industry, to ensure obesity treatments now become part of a broader, sustainable approach to public health?
Well, I think when you look at what we're trying to do with the food supply, that's a good first start too, is getting, healthier, unprocessed, less garbage, having whole foods in our diets, right?
Hmm.
I think the key takeaway is access just got easier, but responsibility got bigger, right? These drugs are incredible tools and it will help millions, but the goal isn't to shrink, it's to thrive, right? And using the technology as a bridge, it gives us stronger bodies, longer lifespans, but we need change that's for not just change sake. We don't just want to change waistlines, right? We want to change the trajectory of healthcare itself. Access is powerful, but optimization is personal. The drug opens the doors, but the daily choices that we make will determine the kind of life we actually step into, right? And I think that it's good that people are concerned about weight loss and trying to find
Hmm.
ways to do it, right? But at the end of the day, it's still a lifestyle choice, and it's something that creates a discipline that's going to help for the future.
Fantastic. Paul, I'm sorry, I got one more question I just thought of. Do you think Eli Lilly or Novo Nordisk, is this something that they would put off to a secondary brand like, hey, let's just let those guys do it. We'll give them the recipe. They'll take care of it. Or do you think the quality will be there from what they have now, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk?
So I don't know that especially Novo Nordisk is gonna love this, right? Because they've raked in quite a hefty,
Yeah.
income from this. I mean, I what I don't what I think it's the nice thing about it, I think for them looking at it, if it's from their perspective, is that they're still not going to stop supplying it, right? Like just because it's being more supplemented from a Medicare and a government standpoint doesn't mean it's changing what they charge their cost for it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I think what it should do and hopefully do is open up the ability for these compounding pharmacies to also help provide this, and it not just be a strictly big pharma type of medication.
Right. Okay. Paul, it's always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the insight on this.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it, Jay. Thank you.
Have a great day now.